So the big funny happened. The big crisis right now, as far as global oil is concerned, is whether or not tankers are going to be able to move through the Strait of Hormuz. There's been a lot of contention. I mean, there's been a lot of discourse in both directions as to what exactly Iran intends on doing to limit movement through the Strait, what they could possibly do to prevent people from moving through. And it looks like, I'm going to assume this is pretty close to the end game here, they've begun deploying the most indiscriminate possible option. Far worse than drones, mines. Here's the thing about mines. Not only can you not choose your target and not really deal with them that well, but sea mines make it impossible for anyone to go through safely. Imagine what it would look like if an oil tanker accidentally tripped one. Yeah, exactly. Iran probably recognized that they would not be able to consistently monitor the Strait with drone strikes and with missiles, so they're going with this. Imagine the insurance premiums. Yeah. This is really bad for every nation? Yeah, well, that's what Israel and America get for forcing them into this position. Iran has begun laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most important energy choke point that carries about 1/5 of all crude oil. Aren't mines banned by the rules of war? I still prefer it, though. Meh. We do war crimes. The mining is not extensive yet, with a few dozen having been laid in recent days, but Iran still retains upward of 80 to 90% of its small boats and mine layers, one of the sources said, so its forces could feasibly lay hundreds, far more than hundreds, in the waterway. The United States immediately and desperately tried to get ahead of this. The administration has been keeping people updated pretty aggressively on how the war is developing, because all of this is a big the money plan. You want to keep the markets well updated. But we basically immediately, Trump started tweeting about destroying mine-laying vessels near the Strait of Hormuz. Like immediately. This was such a big threat that the American government had no choice but to attempt to dissuade insurance companies and the maritime trade companies from getting too panicked. It is a panic situation, yeah. Trump amends earlier threat to Iran if it puts mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Trump said there were no reports of mining taking place. That's interesting because those reports have been widely reported on. But he said he would rely on aerial bombardment on any ships depositing mines. All it takes is one mine on a tanker and the entire strait is... Yeah. It's a very, very dangerous... Trump says U.S. targeted Iran mine-laying vessels. Why would Iran say they're putting mines publicly? Well, you'd want them as a deterrent, right? But I'm not sure if Iran said that. All I know is that reports say. Meanwhile, the military is decommissioning 4 minesweeping ships in the Middle East right now. Nice. Not gonna need these. U.S. Central Command says it has eliminated 16 mine layers, huh? It's not exactly hard to target commercial vessels. Well, it takes active upkeep, you know? You have to...
Second, I want to talk about the...
Oh, that's the what's going on with shipping video that I was watching, but that is not what I'm looking for right now.
CNN is learning Iran has begun laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. This is according to 2 people familiar with the matter. It's another major complication as the world's top oil exporter warns there could be, quote, catastrophic consequences for oil markets if the conflict keeps disrupting ship and oil tanker traffic through the strait. He says beyond upending shipping and insurance, the ongoing disruption could snowball, threatening aviation, agriculture, and other industries. A short time ago, the White House repeated President Trump's promise to provide government-backed insurance as well as naval escorts to keep tankers moving. So far, those shipping companies are resisting traveling through the region.
They're also moving THAADs out of South Korea. Yep. Because Iran destroyed our extremely expensive proprietary radar, anti-air, whatever the detection tech, we are scrapping it from the rest of the world to bring them in. We're actually dismantling American military hegemony all over the world to further protect Israel. Hopefully, we're feeding more of these things to the Iranian drones.
While the fighting goes on. Let's talk about this now with CNN business editor at large, Richard Quest. He's also the anchor of Quest Means Business. Richard, what first do you make of this breaking news? Mines in the Strait of Hormuz happening amid the backdrop of the Trump administration threatening to, sort of rain down on Iran if they do anything in the Strait.
Goofy ass face.
What it shows clearly is how relatively,
Basil,
I use that word, easy it is for Iran to cause absolute mayhem, havoc, and chaos with the Gulf.
I love this man. This is insane. He's actually doing a bit. This has to be a bit. This is the most like British accent made for American television accent I have ever heard in my life.
With the global shipping. You see, they threaten of whether they actually lay the mines or not. We'll only have to wait and see. You've got the perspective of the drones and or missiles. You've got an entire choke point that you're looking at. And all that the West can do, or that President Trump and others can do, is offer these rather poor substitutes. Insurance, for escorting of vessels. I spoke to the CEO earlier of Maersk Shipping, the largest in the world, and he basically said, look, you can give me all the insurance you like, but if it's not safe, I ain't sending my ships, my container ships, through the Strait. And he said, and as for escorting, it's just too difficult. Now, they've got...
Escorting also doesn't really do anything, right? Like, for one, if you hit a mine, escorting doesn't do anything for you. Unless the ship escorting you is a mine-sweeping ship in front of you, like it's very, very edge case, you know, and even then the tides could pull, the current could pull the mine onto your ship, you know, like it's not going to do very much. And certainly, like insurance, there is no insurance rate in, like, there's no insurance rate that could justify potentially sending a full oil tanker into a sea mine, you know?
10 ships stuck in the northern Gulf. They've got many more on the way. It gives you an idea of why what the president said yesterday might sound good in sound bites, but is very difficult to actually put into play and terribly easy to overturn.
So, I mean, taking a look at the effects of this, Richard, you have several industry experts saying if the Strait remains as it is, and I mean, I know we hear the Trump administration threatening if they do anything with the Strait. Well, the Strait is paralyzed, right? But these experts are saying with very little traffic moving through, crude...
I just looked it up and did some napkin math in my head because I'm so smart. And the largest oil-carrying tankers that might get sent through the Strait of Hormuz have a capacity about 1/3 that of the entire volume of the BP oil spill. So if you remember what that was like to clean up and what that did to the environment of the entire, like, hemisphere, just imagine a mine hitting one of those tankers.
Could reach $150 a barrel by the end of the month. If oil is going to go that high, what kind of impact does that have on the world economy? Not just gas, but anything that's petroleum dependent.
Oh, well, let's just go through the list. Besides gasoline, transportation, fertilizer.
Yeah, but the USA and Israel don't give a fuck about the environment. It's not just about being environmentalist or whatever. It's that it would basically shut down the entire strait. We're talking about a narrow strait and a small gulf. If one of those ships blowing up could literally light a significant portion of the Gulf on fire. We're talking about an oil slick that would be visible from space if it was lit on fire. I'm speaking generally. I don't know what exactly would happen, but we're talking about like something that would structurally destroy the area. You could not conduct regular seafaring trade over that area. It'd be bad, but very cool. It would make for some cool photos, I assume. So I can't really say if that'd be good or bad.
Plastics, all sorts of manufacturing, transportation. I mean, heating just for homes, pays your money, it takes your choice. Most of the oil in that part of the world goes east.
Super dumb question, but can't they go somewhere else? Not here, no. Hold on, let me pull up maps again just so everyone knows what we're talking about. No hate, no hate. It's a fine and a fair question. This is what we're dealing with right here. So basically, every day, 50 gajillion barrels of oil are loaded onto an enormous number of massive oil tankers, and they're sent all around the world from here. They have to pass through here. If Iran dumps a bunch of sea mines in this area, that would be that would be bad. Well, it seems like they're doing it. Seems like they're going, they're going nasty with it now as we speak. And sea mines are very difficult to clear out. Very difficult to clear out. They're expensive, but How wide is that strait? Like the navigable portion of it, like 5 or so miles? You don't want to get too close to the land, I assume. So probably like 5 to 10 here. What if they move the port? That's very difficult to do. Also, even if they could like snap their fingers so like keep in mind, this is the whole point of the Persian Gulf being the place you get your oil from is because oil, it gets there from the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. All of these countries get to deposit it here. You know, if you move the port over to, like, I don't know, here, then okay, you have to go through Oman, I guess. How do these countries get it there? Turn Dubai into a canal? Now you're talking. You can measure with a right click and measure distance. I just worry with something like maps, it'll be like, right click here. Do you want to go to here from your location, parentheses, your home address? You get me. The Strait is 24 miles per wiki. Sure, but that doesn't mean the navigable portion of the Strait is 24 miles. My guess is that the sea lane, the sea channel moving through it is probably just a couple miles wide. Just don't input your home address into this account. I don't. But, like, you know how Google is, right? Have you never done a Google search for anything? And you look up, like, ice cream flavors, and then it says ice cream flavors near you, parentheses, your zip code. The admin is now blaming a staffer for the tweet about the oil tanker escort. Oh yeah, I'm sure a random staffer for the Department of Energy just logged on to the Secretary of Energy's account and just claimed, for some reason with no evidence, that a U.S. ship had escorted a tanker through the Strait. I'm sure. Yeah, 100. I'm sure. Uh-huh. Yep.
Towards China and Southeast Asia, but the global market sets the price. And that's why, as you and I were talking yesterday, it's highly unlikely there'll be massive lines in the United States, but the price is set globally, and therefore the US will feel the effect. Consumers in the US will be noticing it today. It will get worse. This idea of 150, by the way, could it happen? I've no idea. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it likely? No one knows. That is the reality here. It is simply a mass of knowns of unknowns.
The United States has hit and
I loved listening to him.
completely destroyed 10 inactive mine-laying boats near the Strait of Hormuz. That's according to a post from President Trump earlier this afternoon. He adds there, quote, with more to follow, unquote. Iran's chokehold over the Strait of Hormuz is becoming more dire by the day. Close to 15 million barrels of oil are stuck in the Gulf region, cut off from moving beyond this crucial water passage for 20% of the world's oil, with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps warning any ship will be attacked. Sources told CNN earlier this afternoon that Iran...
CNN with their goddamn audio issues, man. Yeah, the amount of oil and liquid natural gas that makes it out through the Strait is just ridiculous. The consequences of mining could be, like, if they really do thoroughly mine the Strait, it would only take one oil tanker getting blown up to cause months and months and months and months and months of logistical problems. Okay, remember how the Ever Given crashing into the Suez Canal caused massive issues by blocking like 11% of world's trade? 30% of global seaborne oil trade. Evergreen, not Ever Given, sorry. Ever Given is something else.
had begun laying mines in recent days. Following those reports, President Trump posted, quote, if Iran has put out any mines in the Hormuz Strait and we have no reports of them doing so, we want them removed immediately.
That looks really good, by the way. If Iran has put out any mines, and I don't know if they have, but if they have, do something. Somebody, please. Mods.
If for any reason mines were placed and they are not removed forthwith, the military consequences to Iran will be at a level never seen before. If, on the other hand, they remove what may have been placed, it will be a giant step in the right direction, unquote. That post was only about 40 minutes before his announcement that the U.S. had destroyed the 10 inactive mine-laying boats. You've probably felt the impacts of Iran's grip on the Strait of Hormuz from 8,000 miles away or so here in the U.S. over the last 11 days, paying an average of 56 cents more for a gallon of gas from when this war began. The president and the White House are sticking to their script that those price hikes at the pump are nothing to worry about.
The recent increase in oil and gas prices is temporary, and this operation will result in lower gas prices in the long term. Once the national security objectives of Operation Epic Fury are fully achieved, Americans will see oil and gas prices drop rapidly, potentially even lower than they were prior to the start of the operation.
I heard this.
Their voters and really for all Americans, given the numbers that you were just showing and how much the prices at the pump have changed and just the swings that we've seen based on comments made by President Trump before the markets closed, after the markets closed, a tweet from the Energy Secretary Chris Wright earlier today where he said and seemed to be announcing some breaking news that the United States Navy had basically taken and escorted a tanker through the Strait of Hormuz, something that the president has said for many days now is potentially an option here. But then quickly, Jake, that tweet was deleted, and the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, at that same briefing, confirmed that the United States Navy has not escorted any tankers through the Strait of Hormuz yet. And so obviously that changed because it had made people quite optimistic that potentially we were going to start seeing some more traffic moving through there. And instead, Jake, only the opposite seems to be true with Iran and this reporting now that that CNN has that they are laying new mines there, with the president saying he has not personally seen reports of that, but threatening Iran should they continue to do so. One other thing that Caroline Levitt said earlier about this prospect of the Navy escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, Jake.
I can't believe this photo is real. I really can't believe that yesterday, of all days, this post would be made about how we are decommissioning multiple minesweeper ships that were deployed in the Gulf. I can't, like, of all days, I can't believe it. I didn't know about this. It's insane. For decades, their one job was to keep the Gulf free of mines, and now they're gone. I don't know.
That it is still an option if and when necessary. If you look at the markets, they may argue that time is now, because obviously that is what is affecting these prices, why you're seeing so much concern over what this is going to look like going forward. But right now, Jake, we know that
were they replaced? I don't think so. No, I just think they got rid of them. There just aren't any minesweeping ships in the Gulf now for some reason.
Still has not happened yet. We did see an update from CENTCOM just a few moments ago, Jake, as I was walking over here to the camera, where they posted this video showing the U.S. military going after several Iranian boats, including some of the ones that they say are potentially going to be laying mines.
There is absolutely no way we can stop Iran from laying mines. All you have to do to lay a mine is, like, send out a speedboat or even a small plane and just drop them. You just drop them into the ocean. They're mines. That's the whole point of mines. They're incredibly easy to lay. I don't know what mines Iran has. I don't know. I'm assuming they have older tech. I don't really know. I don't know what new sea mine tech looks like, because I don't know if America even produces or uses them, because I don't know, they're mean. But I think that typically they have an anchor that weighs them down to the bottom of the water, and then they use magnets or like a very simple sonar, and if they detect a ship above, they detach from the anchor and float up, and then the magnets guide them into the underside of the hull of the ship that they detected. I think that's, like, generally how they work, something in that ballpark. But it's really, 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 really difficult to get rid of sea mines. It's tough to get rid of land mines too. Iran possesses a massive arsenal of 2,000 to 6,000 naval mines, ranging from older contact mines to advanced smart magnetic and acoustic influence mines. Acoustic, okay, I guess that makes sense. They primarily utilize the Mayhem-1 moored contact mine packed with 120 kilograms of explosives and various Russian-Chinese design mines. These, along with rocket-propelled rising mines, are deployed by submarines, small fast boats, and vessels like the Macron. Okay, gotcha. Sheesh. Assuming these are older mines that don't self-destruct after time, they would affect the Strait for decades. Yeah, like, and all it would take is the potential of one ship getting hit to fuck everything over, you know? The news that Iran could even potentially be mining the Strait should be sending the markets into, like, a suicidal panic.
Or dedicated to doing so in the Strait of Hormuz. You can obviously see what is happening to them here.
I think this is the nightmare scenario that we've been concerned about for 3 decades. That their Straits of Hormuz would get shut down as a consequence of a major issue within the Straits. That's 18 million barrels of oil every single day that are not coming to market. There's another 6 million barrels that are actually being shut in right now. The top priority for this administration, after they take care of the issue in Iran, is to get the Straits back open. This isn't just affecting American consumers, but consumers all over the globe.
So they talk about Navy escorts being offered for oil tankers. And the president saying, basically, he said, I think, quote, show some guts to the captains of the oil tankers. What's the response of your industry to that your tankers need to show some guts and go with the Navy through the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, there's 2 things here. First of all, they did.
I'm on my hands and knees praying to Allah, okay? The U.S. Navy does get goaded into escorting one mega tanker, and then a mine hits both the Navy vessel and the tanker, and they just flood the Strait. I'm penitent.
Provide some kind of a backstop for insurance. That was an important step as well. And the escorts, of course, are going to be an important component of this. But this is an industry that is very focused on workforce safety. We've been focused on safety for decades and decades. We're not going to put our workforce in danger in the Straits of Hormuz. We have to get them open. We have to make clear that this is not going to be tolerated by the world market. And I think what we're starting to see now is other countries put pressure on Iran to get the Straits back open as quickly as possible.
Your industry, there's a lot of money in your industry. I'm sure that they don't just rely on what they see when they go into a strait or a passageway. They have security, they have some sort of surveillance. What are you hearing about the Iranians mining the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we can only say what we've been hearing from the administration itself. Our industry is working very closely with the Navy and the armed forces right now. They're an important component to ensure safe passage through the straits. So what we're hearing right now is we're not quite there yet, but we need to make sure that we get them open as quickly as possible, because this isn't just about oil. This is about fertilizer and ammonia and food and potable water. This could be a real crisis if we don't get it open soon.
And normally about 60 to 100 boats, oil tankers, get through the strait every day, and now it's zero? The last time a global conflict impacted oil prices was when Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. And airfare prices shot up almost immediately because of the effect on jet fuel. So far, that has not been the case with this conflict. Do you expect that we will see that, though?
We have seen a lot of volatility in the oil markets so far. We just don't know what the answer is going to be at this point. What I do know is that American production is serving as a buffer for world oil prices. When we were dealing with these kinds of situations 30 years ago, the United States was a net oil importer.
Right.
Now we are a net oil exporter. That has provided the energy security that this country needs.
Sorry, I was looking for other video material. What the f is this? I'm sorry, it's just really funny. Can I get the thumb on this? Iran deploys horrific weapon. Trump must strike fast. Just the, I don't know. I nearly like choked on a laugh with the YouTube face and the AI mine exploding. It's really, really, really funny.
Terrible and troubling news is Iran reportedly has mined the Strait of Hormuz. That is right. Naval mines have been deployed by the Iranian regime, putting all ships there at risk, including our naval ships, shipping vessels, and anything else in the water. This is perhaps the biggest escalation of the war yet. And now this situation, a video of the United States blowing up more Iranian ships. Like and subscribe. Stupid. This report also indicating they still have upwards of 80 to 90% of their mine lane small boats. So you put corrupt shipping and oil transport.
When he's right, he's right.
Ability to project power at sea. And then right here, we've got another target down. Good hit. Missile away. Good hit. This is a missile.
CBS says Trump is going to give insurance to shipping boats in Hormuz. No, he won't. No, he won't. That's not happening. Iran also shut down one of the UAE's refineries. Crazy. Yeah, it's been getting worse too. I think Saudi Arabia had to shut down some of their production. NASA's firms map shows multiple fires at the Ruwais refinery in western Abu Dhabi after Iranian drones struck the site today. In response, Abu Dhabi's state oil company, ADNOC, has shut down operations at the refinery. Does this affect Russia? Oh, sorry, Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I've heard that spoken before. Abu Dhabi. Don't come after me. Not good for a petrostate? No. And Russia is delighted by everything happening right now. Cat Abu Ghadibzel. I can't even. Interesting bit of data. Just speaking of things getting worse and worse in the Middle East. Well, worse parentheses, pause. The hit versus intercept rate for ballistic missiles and drone attacks since February 28th for the UAE through today. Today is not like prior days. So far today, a shockingly high number of Iranian drones have made it through. Look at this. There was a higher volume of total shots fired towards the beginning of this conflict, but so far today, ridiculously high hit rate, making it through and hitting, of course, Dubai. That's because they save their better drones. They use the shittier ones to exhaust missile supplies. Yeah, I mean, which makes sense. You want to exhaust the interceptors early on. Wonder if we've worn through our munitions. We are definitely running low. It depends on where you're talking exactly, but we just do not have enough interceptors to protect everywhere. Between that and the fact that they damaged that water purification or water desalination plant in Bahrain, I mean, it's only gonna get worse. So can Iran win this war long term? I mean, Iran can do considerable damage to the global economy. So there's that. I would say that if Iran is able to demonstrate that they're capable of taking down the global economy and we back off because of it, that's pretty much a win for Iran. With each passing day, it gets worse for us. It also helps the US has gotten very trigger happy with Patriot missiles. Maybe we did need to keep a manufacturing economy. Jesus Christ. The US fight with Iran is putting new stress on Patriot missile stockpiles already under heavy strain. We talk like we could win a war with China. Meanwhile, we are running out of munitions 2 weeks into fighting Iran. Jesus Christ. This cannot be sustainable. The US borrowed $50 billion a week for the past 5 months, the CBO says. Did you guys see the Pete Hegseth spending? There's a TMZ article somebody linked in it. Pete Hegseth has been spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on stupid bullshit. The DoD reportedly blew through tens of billions in 1 month, including huge splurges on steak, lobster, crab, fruit baskets, and furniture. He bought a nearly $1 million piano for one of his staffers. Or a staffer. Let's see. $2 million for Alaskan king crab, $15 million for ribeye steak, $1 million for salmon, almost $140,000 for donuts, $124,000 for ice cream machines, $225 million on furniture, $6 billion on information technology, including $3.5 billion for cable TV, Apple devices, Samsung devices. Yeah, here we go. $1.8 million spent on musical devices, including nearly $99,000. Oh, sorry. Okay, not a million, 100,000 for a Steinway & Sons grand piano for the Air Force Chief of Staff's home, $26,000 for a violin, and $21,750 for a handmade Japanese flute. Nice stuff. Anyway, yeah, we're running out of Patriot missiles. Can you help me with my budget? Here's my budget, okay? $10 million a year on ammunition resupply, $5 million a year on interceptors for satellite imaging and radar technology, $100 billion a year for fruit baskets and Japanese flutes. Can somebody help? My empire is falling, please, sir, please. We're facing a militarily inferior opponent in the Middle East again, and we're losing again. $2 billion on Vosh subs. I wish. Put that money somewhere it's needed. It's like Russia approaching Kiev. All the tank fuel got siphoned off. For the past 3 decades, the U.S. has stopped maintaining its own minesweeping capabilities and delegated the role to its allies, who are now not picking up Trump's calls regarding deployment to the Strait of Hormuz to counter Iranian mines. They don't want that smoke? Turn to allies to improve U.S. mine warfare. So wait, this is the closest we come to auditing? Yeah, right. Putin looks to be unwell. People have been predicting Putin's untimely death for decades now. I don't really give a shit until I see his body in a coffin. Do you think Trump would even intervene if China invaded Taiwan? No. I think he would defend it. I think he would probably say that Xi Jinping is a very smart guy and that it's unfortunate, but it is technically right next door. He would actually probably use the one China defense. He would say, Taiwan, they claim they're a different country, but they're not. They say a very long time ago they had a fight and the fight was never finished. I guarantee you he would do it. Guarantee you.